Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. Now that all 12 blocks are completed, the next step is to do the final squaring of all the blocks and then stitch the sashing on. And once the sashing is on, there's still a few more steps to complete before your quilt is done. Let's take a look at this quilt behind me. This is the Beginner Sampler Quilt 2017. There are 12 blocks in it, but each block is a different pattern. So similar to yours, you only have 6 patterns. This one has 12. But the layout is what you're going to be doing in your quilt. You're going to be putting the sashing on, then the border. After you've got the border on, you're going to measure your quilt and create a piece of fabric that is a little larger than this quilt top. Get your batting cut out, layer everything, pin it all together, do your quilting stitches, and then the last step is to put the binding on. Before you do your sashing, you want to make sure that all of your blocks are squared to the same size. Now I know in each block video that I released, I had you square that block to 12.5 inches. But maybe you were having problems. You couldn't get it to that 12.5 inch size. And often this happens to a lot of us, including myself. But there are tricks you can do to get everything down to the same size. And it may not be 12.5 square inches. So I'm going to refer you to a video called How to Square a Quilt Block. And I show you all kinds of little tricks that you can do to get those blocks to the same size. Because if they're not, your quilt will be off balance. It's going to stretch and ripple and not lay very nice. So it's real important to watch the video. And that link is appearing right now in the upper right hand corner. So make sure you watch that video. When you are selecting fabric for your sashing, now remember the sashing frames the quilt blocks. You want to select sashing that's going to make your blocks stand out. You don't want the sashing to stand out, you want the blocks to stand out. So try to select a neutral fabric. It doesn't have to be white like this. It can be just a lighter color or something that has a very pale print in it if you want to use a print. Even though this fabric's white, it actually has a print in it if you can see close up. So look at fabrics that are neutral and it's going to make your quilt blocks just pop out. So to do your sashing, I'm going to refer you to a video, the Beginner Sampler Quilt Sashing 2017. And the link is appearing right now in the upper right hand corner of your screen. So click on that. It'll take you to the link to do your sashing in this layout. After you got the sashing all on, then I'm going to talk to you about the border. I'll give you suggestions for your border. Also, we'll go into creating that fabric for the back, getting everything measured and fitting properly, cotton batting, layering it, pinning it together, and I'll also give you some helpful tips on doing quilting stitches. It's a lot different doing your quilting stitches on a quilt than it is on a pot holder or a table runner. There's a big difference actually. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips on to make that process easier for you. If you are having any problems with any of the steps in making this quilt, please send me an email to the following email address, thesewingroomchannel@gmail.com. Include a picture of your problem and be very specific about what the problem is, because it is hard addressing some of your issues if you're not specific or if there's not a picture included. Also, send me pictures anyway. I want to know how you're doing. Some of you have already, and I just love looking at your results. So please send me pictures. Now, if you liked this video, please click on that old thumbs up button. Also, there's that curved arrow there. That's a share button. So click on that to share that with your friends. Maybe you have some other fellow quilters who are having problems getting their quilt finished. And then, of course, if you haven't subscribed, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Enter your email address so that you receive email notifications about my latest video. I'm Cheryl, and I'm so glad you came to my sewing room. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing!